Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 16th to the 31st, 2022 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Aries, January 16th to the 31st, 2022, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. 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 At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Magician at our root, which is brilliant, and we have the Lovers. So we are going to be in Mercury retrograde during this time. The Lovers is Gemini energy is ruled by Mercury, so that is going to come through quite powerfully. So do be aware of that. But if we have Gemini energy within our natal chart, that's also coming through very powerfully as a root of our personality during this time. Then we have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy. So Pluto energy is also coming through very powerfully during this time. And if we have Scorpio energy within our natal chart, that is something for us to be aware of. It's going to come through very powerfully in our inner self. Then we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy, and we have Capricorn. We have the Death card, which is Capricorn energy. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Both are going to come through very powerfully at our heart. We're going to have this kind of joyous sense of structure when it comes to our love and what we desire. So that's going to be a little bit interesting. Also, if we have Sagittarius or Capricorn energy within our natal chart, that comes through very, very strongly emotionally for us. So we might not find ourselves to be as emotional as we would expect to be with certain things. The fire sign energy is amplified, so we can be a little bit, kind of fiery, a little bit, quick on certain things, but it is going to be quite interesting. We have the Three of Cups and we have Temperance once again, so very strong Sagittarius energy coming through here, very strong Jupiter energy. Jupiter is, of course, the Roman word, the Roman naming of Zeus, so there is that powerhouse within the gods, kind of within that amphitheater of deities coming forward. So just be aware of that. Zeus, astoundingly powerful figure, but also very much a jerk. So just that energy coming forward. Then we have our energy to be mindful of, angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. This is the Chariot. This is Cancer energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So we do have somebody with a lot of different faces coming forward, and these, because this is to be mindful of, they're not always going to be the best faces that they bring forward, or that we are bringing forward at certain times. Emotions can get completely out of hand. The subconscious and the conscious can be absolutely out of sorts with one another. This is going to be a person who, says one thing, does the other, is pulled in 18 million different directions, doesn't have any follow through, not even any follow through. It's going to be that they're very chaotic. They're very chaotic in their emotional state. And that's going to be something for us, Aries, that is going to be something we want to fix. And then if we can't fix it, we're going to get very frustrated with it. Sometimes people need to go through their own things, need to go through their own, trials and tribulations. And we need to step back just a bit. Now let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Now this is life purpose. This is the throat chakra, which is absolutely brilliant. I love that our throat chakra also represents our life purpose, because what we speak into the world is what we get. So there is this power of, am I speaking forward what it is that I truly want? Or am I kind of cursing myself when I'm also trying to bless myself? So is it going to be, oh, well, I can, still have the relationship that I want, even though I'm older. So we're giving ourselves a compliment and taking it away at the exact same time. So many times you hear people say that, or, I'm still talented even though I got into this game late, or some such nonsense as that. And it's like we're complimenting ourselves, but we're also taking away that compliment. And what Spirit is really saying here is, look at the way that you're vocalizing your purpose within your life. Look at the way that you are, blessing yourself, or are you cursing yourself? And our life purpose doesn't have to be something that's, really big. It doesn't have to be something that, people will sit there and remember for, hundreds of thousands of years, that type of thing. We always think it has to be lasting like the pyramids, but that is a very human response. I want to live on forever, type of mentality. Our life purpose can be very small. It can be, I'm going to have a good family, or I'm going to be kind, or, I'm going to make really great chocolate chip cookies that everybody loves. That could be our life purpose. And that can be enough. We always think on the grandiose scale, and it seems like the media, our world, downplays the simple things, downplays the simple life, or the ordinary life, and thinks if you're not extraordinary, then you're not anything. But if everybody's extraordinary, if everybody's the best of the best all the time, then does that even matter? Are we really looking at the scale the same way? So there is nothing wrong with living a quiet, simple, beautiful life, and being in tune with the world around us. That is something that I personally think is quite an extraordinary thing. So let us look astrologically at this time period. So we're looking from the 16th of January to the 31st of January. And it starts off on the 16th of January with the Sun conjunct Pluto. We have Pluto energy right here coming through very strongly. So this is going to be a strong start for us. This brings deep and intense emotions to the surface. We want to expand and better ourselves, and we don't want to be satisfied with anything that's easy. We're not going to be. We don't want it. We're like, okay, it has to be a little bit harder, a little bit, more intense. There will be amazing willpower to be harnessed during this time. And this day, it can lead us to life-changing, roads opening. It can lead us to life-changing ways forward. And that's why we have the Four of Wands right here. The Four of Wands is that celebration, is that intensity. Now, on the 17th of January, we have the full moon. It is the wolf moon, the full moon of January, and it is in Cancer. So that's going to have a very big effect on us. It might not have as positive an effect as we want it to, because we're being told to be mindful of these things, but the power is going to come forward, and it is going to be an intense day. And there'll be a separate video on that. The 18th of January has Uranus going direct. Now, Aquarius energy is ruled by Uranus. So if we have Aquarius energy within our natal chart, that's going to come through very powerfully here, okay, because it's going direct. It's coming out of retrograde. Uranus went into retrograde on the 19th of August. When Uranus goes into retrograde, it brings inner change because of the outer change within our world. Because of things changing externally, we start to change internally, which we can all see, especially during this time in our history, in our world. Now, we're going to see things starting to settle down, because Uranus is going direct, because things are coming back into harmony. The 23rd of January has the Sun conjunct Mercury, and Mercury is in retrograde. So things get a little bit tricky when Mercury shows up. And again, we have that strong Mercury energy right here at our root. This is a fantastic aspect for artists or for people seeking to create new ways of life for themselves, new ways of interpreting their world, new ways of leading themselves forward. Now, because Mercury is in retrograde, there can be some frustration around the concept of ideas and giving birth to them, and how do I do this, how do I do that? We're going to tend to overanalyze. Don't get in your own way. Don't get yourself down. Embrace your active mind, the active communication of thoughts that are coming forward, and see what happens. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. So often we're so afraid of making mistakes. We're thinking everything has to be perfect that we really rob ourselves out of some things that can be extraordinary because they're going to be a little bit messy first. The 24th of January has Mars entering into Capricorn. Now, if there is anything you want to conquer or to go after, this is the day to do it. It really is. This energy is quite tremendous. Here we have the warrior energy of Mars and the practical energy of Capricorn, which actually comes through at our heart right here. And it means that almost anything is possible. We can see ourselves becoming really focused, really in tune. And of course, we're ruled by Mars, Aries. Oh my gosh, we're ruled by Mars. We have Capricorn at our heart. This is a time where we're not afraid at all to roll up our sleeves, to go after what we want. We're actually going to see ourselves shine. So circle the 24th on your calendar, or, have an alert come up, because this is going to be a day where we can really feel empowered. We can really feel emboldened, and we don't want to let that pass us by. The 26th of January has Neptune squared Lilith. Now, this is a very powerful alignment. Neptune is also known as the Lord of the Invisible Kingdom and has us looking at our own dreams and our heart's desires, while Lilith has us looking at our darker fears, our doubts. And now this can make us feel overwhelmed, most definitely, if we haven't ever, really faced these fears or doubts, or just kind of sweep them under the carpet, say, oh, I'll look at this later. But what we're going to find is that as we face the fears around our dreams, this can really empower us, and this can really embolden us, and this can really make us be honest with ourselves and say, well, this is what I'm taking back into my life. Like, this is where I need to be for me, not for anybody else. And that becomes a very powerful, very extraordinary thing. On the 29th of January, we have the Sun sextile Chiron. Now, this aspect shows us our wounds in our strength, meaning that we might be really strong at one particular thing. These are our talents, but we still can improve. We still can, achieve more. And that's going to be what comes forward, forcing us to face what we might not want to, and becoming more powerful in our own right. The 29th of January also has Mercury, which is again in retrograde, conjunct Pluto, which comes through powerfully here in our inner self and also at our root. This makes us greatly intelligent and deeply curious. Because Mercury is in retrograde, we can be all over the place in our curiosity and our discovery, making us a little bit scattered and a little bit like, a little bit delaying things. But some really great insights, some really great knowledge is going to come forward during this time. Also on the 29th of January, we have Venus going direct. Now with Venus going direct, this brings us out of a challenging love cycle. And that challenging life cycle began on the 19th of December when Venus went into retrograde. And this has us looking at what we love and why we love it, and what we really want to open the doors for, what we really want honestly and openly in our lives to love, to cherish, and to be powerfully a part of. On the 30th of January, we have the Sun squared Uranus, and people find us a bit abrupt and provocative during this time. We're going to find everybody a bit abrupt and provocative during this time. I mean, it's just going to be the way of the world. But we're going to be very driven, and things are going to go our way, and we're really going to start to stand out. We're not even start to stand out. We're really going to embrace standing out and saying, you know what? I don't want to be just a cog in the wheel. I want it to be more me. And it doesn't mean that, we have to stand out at work or, in certain areas, maybe when everybody can see us, but I need to stand out in my own life, in my own existence for myself. And that becomes a very beautiful thing for us. Now, of course, during this astrological alignment here, like when we're talking about everything that's going on, some days have been skipped over because those days don't have anything of real significance happening. So just be aware of that. Now at our root right here, we have the magician. And the magician is us bringing our magic forward. As above, so below. As we think it, we become. And that's a very powerful thing. We can get into mind ruts. We can get into a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of chaos around us that can really hold us back. And the magician says, stand before the altar of your existence. Stand before who it is that you are and call in your power. Call in what you desire. Call in what you need. Call in the elements of yourself. Because when we are blessing ourselves, we are high. But when life gets hard, when life gets overwhelming, even when we just don't feel good, or we're not sleeping properly, or there's just chaos in our existence, we feel it, and it starts to create the world around us. So just be mindful. Just be mindful of things. Sometimes I like to go online and I'll look up, like, from a TV show or something like that. If I'm watching TV, where are these people now? And if there's, like, if you're doing that and you're thinking, oh, did they fail or did they succeed? And what are you looking for here? And then look at your own inner self because of it. It's like, what am I looking for in others that shows me what I'm seeing within myself? So that's a really good barometer too. It's something that I've become more and more aware of within my own waking world. And that's something that really helps guide our path. And it's like, okay, do I need to step out of this? Why am I doing this type of thing? Or, okay, I'm blessing my way forward. Let me keep on blessing my way forward. And there's just a power here to it. And as above, so below. As we think it, so it becomes, which sounds so easy. It sounds so, rote. It's something that is always said when the magician comes up. But is it lived? Is it seen? Is it really understood? It brings us to the lover. So as we have ourselves being that magic, being that intensity, that beauty, the lovers comes in and says, where's the passion in your life? What do you love? Is every day becoming like the next? Is every day becoming a little bit more intense, a little bit more overwhelming? Have we lost the fire? Have we lost the passion? Not just between ourselves and our partners, or, our work or whatever, but between us and our world, between waking up and, brushing our teeth. Is there still beauty? Is there still glory? What is it that we are experiencing within our lives? And so the lovers comes in, and the lovers is important. It is important to have that passion back. It is important to have that curiosity, to dive deep into things. Gemini energy and Sagittarius energy, they're sister signs. So we're going to be pushed in the direction of curiosity. Sagittarius, much more structured than Gemini is. So a part of us is going to be like a butterfly, want to flitz, want to see, want to discover. The other part of us is going to want to be more, structured, more, kind of methodical about things. Very, very curious though during this time. Let us use that curiosity. Let us see where it takes us. Because the Death card is the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. And as we are transforming, as we are becoming more, as we're seeing more within ourselves, inwardly, we're going to say, I'm not the same person. And that can be a very good thing. And that can also be something that we need to mourn, that we need to look at with openness and honesty for ourselves and say, well, am I okay with that? Did I want to be the same person? Am I moving forward the way that is right for me? Or am I overwhelmed? Am I doubtful? Am I denying myself? Where is it that I want to be? What is it that I want from myself? As I embrace this transformation, I embrace me. And there's this sense here of greater understanding that comes from this embrace. This greater understanding that comes from this transformation of self, this insight of self. And it brings us to this beautiful point where we start to celebrate who it is that we are. The Four of Wands is the minor arcana marriage card. And it doesn't have to mean that we get married, though for some of us, it can be that we're aligning ourselves that way. We're open to committed relationships, or we're looking at the magic within love and saying, okay, well, how do I want that in my life? It might not be in a traditional sense, but it might be in the sense that is, and it should be in the sense that is right for us as individuals. And so the Four of Wands comes in and says, how am I celebrating me? How am I embracing the joys within my life? This is also moving house. This could be getting curious about houses, curious about different ways of living. This is new job opportunities, but this can also be, side projects that we want to make into jobs, or side projects that just give us sanity so that we can do our job when we go to work and bring the best part of us forward. And there's also the sense here, and this could be for a very specific person, but it's that sense of when it's wrong, like when it's no longer, when going to work becomes a drudgery, when it becomes a tremendous sorrow. What can we do in our lives to change it? What can we do in our lives to bring back the celebration? And it doesn't mean just going to work, like getting up and going to an office, or, working on our computers. It can be the work of keeping a home, a work of, raising children. when it becomes a drudgery, which at times it does, you're not supposed to say it, but at times you look at things and it's like, okay, this is way harder than I ever thought it was going to be. How do I bring the celebration back into my existence? How does joy get to come into my life again? How does beauty get to come into my life again? And how do I get to start celebrating me inwardly? We're going to be looking at this, and inwardly we're going to be really breaking down a lot of barriers. It brings us to temperance. It brings us to balance. It brings us to going deeper and deeper and deeper into ourselves emotionally. There's going to be a sense of, I'm not settling for what's on the surface. I'm balancing the cups. I'm seeing what I desire. I'm looking at, the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine aspects of myself. And I'm calling this power forward. I'm calling this passion forward. And as we do so, we look at, the fog that has been around us, the chains that have been keeping us stuck, keeping us held back. It can be beautiful chains too. It can be a beautiful gilded cage that we no longer want to be in. It's looking at our lives and saying, what is it that my heart is calling for? It doesn't mean that we have to do anything drastic or overwhelming. It can just be that we need to incorporate more of our heart, our soul, ourselves into us, not hiding us away because it's too vulnerable, not hiding us away because people won't necessarily understand. It's letting the beauty come back into our lives, and it's being proud of who we are. The devil makes us face our demons, most definitely. Makes us face our addictions, makes us face our greatest fears, and says, what are we chained to? Are these the chains we put on ourselves because that's what success looks like? Are these the chains that society has put on us because that's what the world looks like? Or are these the chains that we acquire over time because I just have to do things right? I just have to be the best person I can be, not rock the boat type of thing. Or maybe I have to rock the boat. And those are also the chains that I put on me, to be the rabble-rouser or to be the quiet one, the good one or the bad one. What labels have we acquired through our lives, and how are we letting them rule us? And this is going to be a time where we're really seriously purging away so much negativity, so much hurt, so much pain, so much darkness, so much doubt, so much fear. And it brings us to the Three of Cups. And here it says, family, friends, joy, abundance. And it repeats that like a mantra. Whenever I see the Three of Cups, yes, I see the celebration. But what I first see are the people who raised their glasses to us that couldn't, that couldn't be there, that couldn't follow through, that couldn't love us, connect with us the way that we needed them to. These could be parents, these could be guardians, these could be teachers, these could be lovers, these could be friends, these could be siblings. It doesn't matter. They miss the mark, right, in our lives. And we can blame ourselves and we can say, I missed the mark. And maybe we, followed wound patterns that had us choosing the wrong partner or the wrong friends, or, our parents followed wound patterns that had their relationship with their parents, emulated in their children's lives, that type of thing. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt any less. And we tend to look at those. And those are the words, those are the actions, that's the reality that plays around our world so much more easily than the people who stand by us, the people who love us, the people who cherish us, the friends and the confidants that are there. And so this is going to be a beautiful time in the public arena to say, okay, what negative words, what negative reality is holding me back? And how do I embrace the positivity? How do I embrace those who love me? How do I start celebrating me and not living in the fear of being betrayed, of being hurt, of being overwhelmed? And it brings us to temperance again. This is guidance, this is healing, this is moderation, and this is balance. And as we have, the cups pouring into each other, I love it when one cup is gold and one cup is silver, because it's the day and the night pouring into each other, the conscious and the subconscious coming together. We're really seeing ourselves. We're really starting to understand the way that we want to move forward, who it is that we are. We're finding balance in our world, not from others, but from ourselves. And as we start to see ourselves, as we start to understand ourselves, we start to be guided forward more and more and more. We start to come in harmony with what we love, with what we desire, and we're setting the foundation. We really are during this time. We're setting the foundation. We're setting out the script. We're sitting there and saying, I'm powerful and I'm beautiful and I'm worth it. And I am stepping forward into this world with that radiance as a part of me, that radiance as a guiding brilliance to me. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Hermit. Now, this is Virgo energy. And this is Virgo is ruled by Venus. This could be letting the heart kind of take over just a bit too much and letting the world become too much. Sometimes there is sensitivity that needs to be acknowledged. So if we need to turn inward, it's not a bad thing. It's letting ourselves acknowledge that sensitivity, acknowledge the awareness, and turning inward towards our hearts and what we love and what we need. But it's also saying here we cannot close ourselves away. And with people, there are going to be people in our lives that have closed themselves away. And that's going to be something where it's like, okay, it's time to step out of that box. We cannot make people step out of the box, but it's going to be important that we have that energy around us of freedom, of expression, of discovery. It brings us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that is play. That's the heart chakra. The heart chakra is all about love, right? It's all about connecting with who we are. And play, the interesting thing about human beings is that we cannot play if we do not feel safe. It's just, we can't truly enjoy ourselves. You'll see a person who might be trying to interpret play, trying to make believe that they are playing, that they are having a fun time. But if they're in a negative space, they're not going to be able to fully enjoy. And so here, it's looking at ourselves and saying, do I let myself play? Do I let myself follow bliss? Do I let my heart open? What am I guarding myself from? What is it that I need to protect myself from? Why is play so hard? Or how is it that I'm embracing play? How can I help others embrace play? It moves us to our subconscious rooted self. And that's temperance once again. Now we have temperance showing up 3 times in this reading, which is extraordinary. And it's the balance. Balance is needed. Everything in moderation during this time. Everything in acknowledgement of our power and our truth and our purpose and who it is that we are. Our angels guide us in such a profound way. They really open up the door for us. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that's the 7 of Cups. We're moving towards our dreams. We're looking at what we want. We're reconfiguring our dreams. A lot of us are. We're looking at things and saying, okay, maybe that way didn't work, but how is it that I can have what my soul is longing for and still, keep my world or still pay the bills, still be able to uphold my responsibilities. It is going to be important. And it's going to be very important. We then have the subconscious emotional self, and that's the 6 of Wands. That's celebrating ourselves. That's, building ourselves up when we have done something well, when we have done something that is beautiful, and acknowledging that and honoring it within us. That's going to be just so beautiful for us because we're so used to and so ready to rip ourselves down when we do something wrong. When we do something right, it's like, oh yeah, that's expected. But no, it needs to be celebrated. It just really does. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self, and that is the Empress. And here it says luxury, beauty, harmony, abundance, grace, fertility, love, nurture, beauty, art. It is birthing forward into the world the most extraordinary parts of us. It can be, again, embracing our sacred femininity, and as the Emperor, as the person who is represented by the Emperor in the major arcana. When we have the Empress come forward, that is our other half, Aries. That's the balancing, beautiful, power to us. And we're going to see ourselves looking at what we love, looking at who we are, looking at our passion, looking at our desire, looking at what we've been wanting to create, and seeing how to move ourselves forward in a true and wonderful way. What we have been holding ourselves back from, and what needs to be embraced and enjoyed. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.